Wednesday, July 19th, and the heat and drought go on here in the Mid-Atlantic. But let's talk about a police shooting in Minnesota. In Minnesota, an Australian citizen who was here, I believe she was a fiance of an American, was killed by a police officer. And you know, that in itself is absolutely horrible that an innocent person would be killed. But let's look at what happened here. And this is, it appears to me, the Minnesota Police Department totally dropping the ball, completely dropping the ball here. We have a police officer who said he was driving, he was with his, he was in the driver, in the passenger side, and he had a driver, and they were called by this woman who happened to be an Australian citizen, and she had called to report a possible sexual assault. They were driving down the road or down an alley, and they said they heard a loud noise, and she walked from the passenger side to talk to the officer, and he shot her. And that story really makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Think about what's going on. Let's take a step back first and look at this officer. This officer has been a police officer in the Minnesota Police Department for 2 years. In those 2 years, he has three disciplinary actions raised as a result of complaints. One has been closed, we don't know why, and the other two were still open. The day before the killing, he was then sued, along with some other police officers, for using an overwhelming force, kicking in a door and taking a citizen in. I don't know the facts there, but that's a fourth situation where this guy is involved with a complaint or some citizen being really unhappy with the way he treated him, all in 2 years. Yet the Minnesota Police Department kept this dude on the street. Now think about it. In 2 years, this guy has 3 major citizen complaints. He has a lawsuit against him in 2 years, and you have him on the street with a gun. Why isn't he sitting behind a desk when you have a record like this? The Minnesota Police Department is as complicit in this, in any guilt that may occur, as this police officer. And then let's look at this police officer. See, he's cruising down the road. The window is open. He must have had his hand on his gun, because if this woman is coming to him, he just starts blasting away. He had to have his hand on his gun. It had to be unholstered. He had to be ready for something. And why? Why was he looking to shoot somebody? Heard a loud noise? What if it was a backfire? What if it was thunder? If every police officer pulled their gun out and started shooting when they heard thunder or a loud noise, everybody would be killed. And they took out this woman who had no gun, no weapon, no nothing, who was the one who called. This guy's is inexcusable, absolutely inexcusable. Four complaints against this guy, including a lawsuit, and the Minnesota Police Department left him out there, and he's out cruising. And not only that, if he thought it was that important, he was that worried, why didn't he turn on his body cameras? There were no body cameras. There was no car camera. They did nothing. They kept this whole thing quiet. If he was that worried, he should have turned on his body cameras. But why would he? He's only gotten in trouble three or four other times. So that Minnesota Police Department left Quick Draw Magraw on the streets so he could shoot this woman, this innocent person who may have become an American citizen, this person who called the police to come to try to look for some type of sexual assault because it appears she was trying to aid another person. Wow. Horrible, horrible, inexcusable Minnesota Police Department. Does say you're getting third parties looking into this. You better be ready to stand up and take the same blame on yourself. Pull people like this off the street. We don't need any more deaths like this. Peace.